Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Tuner on Security. In this video I'm going to show you how to solve a General Skills CTF challenge from picoCTF 2021. The challenge is called Nice netcat. I've summarized the most important information about the challenge on this slide. The task is to talk to a program using the netcat command. You'll also find the link to the challenge in the video description below. Let's jump into the challenge. Here we have the challenge. There's a nice program that you can talk to by using this command in a shell. nc mercury.picoctf.net 21135, but it doesn't speak English. Okay, so let's copy this command. Let's switch to our shell and enter it. In response, we get a long list of numbers. I'm thinking that this might be ASCII codes that we need to translate. So let's have a look at an ASCII table. Let's have a look at the Wikipedia article on ASCII and see if we can find a translation table here. Okay, so here we go. So it looks like we have decimal numbers to work with. So let's try here to look up 112 to start with. 112 is P. Then we have 105, which is I, so pi. Then we have number 99, which is C. And then 111, which is O. So we have pico. So this is typical for the flags that we find in picoCTF challenges. They always start with pico. Now I don't want to manually translate all these numbers, so I'll try to create a short Python script to do this for me. I've now created a small Python script to translate the ASCII codes into glyphs. So let's have a look at this small program. Let's start down here in the main part of the program. So first I just print the text. This program translates decimal ASCII codes into glyphs. Then I check the arguments, the number of arguments provided to the script. We expect 3 arguments. And if we don't receive 3 arguments, we print how the user is supposed to use this program. So the usage is that the Python command is entered and followed by the script name. Then we have the input.txt file where we have the ASCII codes. And then we have the name of the output file to which we want to write the output of the translation. And finally we exit. So that's what happens if we receive the wrong number of arguments. If we receive the correct number of arguments, we'll try to do the conversion from ASCII to glyphs. And then we send in the input txt file into this function ASCII to glyphs. So let's jump up to that one. We have the input file path, which we open in order to read it. And then we read the lines. And then finally we do a translation where we look up the code in the ASCII codes table and translate it then into the glyph. And finally, we return all the glyphs back to the main program. The main program then writes the translated glyphs into the output file, which is sysargv number 2. And that we can see up here in this function, write the output file, where we open the output file path for writing, and then we just join all the individual glyphs into a string and write it. So that's pretty much it. Let's give this a test run. We need to run the netcat command again, but this time we want to redirect the output into our file that we will use as input to the Python script that I just showed you. So let's try and run the script, Python, followed by the script name, which is ASCII to glyph.py. Let's provide the input.txt file as input, and let's stick with output.txt for output. That was the execution of the command. It looks fine. Let's cut the output.txt file. And there we have the complete flag. So picoCTF, good kitty, etc. Let's copy that and let's switch back into the challenge and enter this in the submission form. Hooray, we earned 15 points and solved the challenge. Now that we've solved the challenge, I want to talk a bit more in detail about netcat. So let's start with an introduction to netcat. So netcat is a versatile utility for redirecting I/O into a network stream. Netcat can be used for just about anything involving TCP, UDP, or Unix domain sockets, such as opening connections, sending packets, listening on ports, doing port scanning, and dealing with both IP version 4 and 6. Unlike Telnet, netcat scripts nicely and separates error messages from data output. Netcat can also function as a server by listening for inbound connections on arbitrary ports. Some common uses of netcat include simple TCP proxies, shell scripts, based HTTP clients and servers, network daemon testing, and the SOX or HTTP proxy command for SSH. Netcat is a simple, reliable, feature-rich, and fast tool that can create almost any kind of connection you would need. The basic usage of netcat is very simple. To create a TCP connection to a given port on a given host, you just need to type nc host port in the terminal. For example, if you want to connect to port 80 on www.example.com, you can type nc www.example.com followed by the port 80. This will establish a TCP connection to the web server. You can then send data from your standard input to the host, such as an HTTP request, and receive data from the connection to your standard output, such as an HTTP response. The connection will remain open until the network side shuts down. This means that you can send multiple requests and receive multiple responses without closing and reopening the connection. This is different from most other applications that exit after an end of file on the standard input. Let's have a look at this in the terminal. So nc, and then followed by the host that we want to connect to, and the port 80 in this case. Then we can type in an HTTP request method, so get. And here we see the response from the server. In this case, we got a 501 not implemented response, and the connection got closed. Netcat can also function as a server by listening on an arbitrary port for inbound connections. To do this, we need to use the -L and -P options with netcat. For example, if we want to listen on port 1234, we can type nc-L-P followed by the port number, for example 1234. This will make netcat wait for incoming connections on port 1234. You can check that the port is open by using the netstat command. You can then read and write data from and to the connected clients using your standard input and output. A client can connect to the same port 1234 by entering the command nc localhost 1234. Let's have a look at this in the terminal as well. So we can start by renaming the session to server and another session to client. Let's fire up the server first. nc -l -p 1234. Let's switch over to the client side. Now let's check that the server is up and listening to the desired port. So netstat -an and let's grep 1234. Now it closed for some reason. Let's try again. We open the port and now we see that it's listening on this port. So we should be able to connect now. So let's enter nc localhost 1234. And now we should have a connection to the server. Let's type a message. Hello, I'm the client. And on the server side, we see that we received this message. So let's respond. Hi, client. I'm the server at your service. And we see on the client side that we received this message. So here we can go back and forth like a small chat program between the server and the client. That wraps it up for today. Thanks for your attention. I hope you learned something new about netcat today. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to add a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more videos on CTFs and other security related topics. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.